Welcome back, everyone. This week we're going to discuss the weekly performance report. So, not much went on in my portfolio in the past week. The only noticeable activity to mention is that I bought more shares of St. Joe, ticker symbol JOE. As I noted in the April 27th edition of the weekly performance report, link there. I cannot believe it's been a month, by the way. I actually looked back 2 weeks ago to find the link, or to find my initial posting of a similar looking image. And I was like, man, it's not from 2 weeks ago. I was like, did I actually include it? So then I looked back 3 weeks. And then I looked back 4 weeks, and I was like, wow, cannot believe it's been a month. And I even had to count the little candles on this picture. I was like, April 27th, I was like, have we had that many candles? And the answer is yes. But anyway, as I noted back then, how it seemed to be creating some sort of a coiling pennant pattern, and that if it keeps doing that, then I'll buy more. So I've been waiting. I was, as always, as a shareholder, you kind of want things to go up in price, but on the same token, you kind of want them to not go up in price so you can accumulate more shares. So, dimmed if you do, dimmed if you don't, in some sense. But nonetheless, I waited, and sure enough, it fell back down to the baseline, and it tagged this base, as you can see. That's as far as I can zoom in. So you can see that it tagged the support of the pennant line, I guess is what you would call it. Anyway, I added more shares there. So that's all I've done in my portfolio this week. So here we go. I don't know, not like I said, I'm down let me scroll down. Oh, no, scroll up. I ended the week down 4.11%. Practically all my names, especially the ones that make up a reasonable percentage of my portfolio, were all down pretty much on the week. Valeris was down, Grown Rogue was down, Glass House was down, Genius was down, St. Joe was down. I feel like I'm missing something. Joe, Valeris, and Grown Rogue, that makes up, 14, 26, 49. So 3 names make up 49% of my portfolio, and they were all down roughly 5% for the week. So it's really no surprise. Actually, I am surprised. I am surprised because I don't pay attention to really. I pay attention. I look at my names every day, but it's the accumulation of things that I don't pay much mind to. So I kind of thought I was only going to be down, call it 2% for the week. And you could say on a week-to-week basis, oh my gosh, such underperformance, because I think the S&P closed down, I don't know, 0.02% or something. So the S&P was pretty much flat. So for me to be down 4% is like, wow, massive underperformance, which is a legitimate observation, but I don't really predicate my investing on week-to-week or day-to-day moves. So I'm not too worried about it. Just remember that anybody who says that they don't want to sustain let's call it, anybody who says they don't want to experience a 33% drawdown is the same as saying that they do not want to go from buying a stock at $10, riding it to $30, and then having it pull back to $20. Because that pullback from 30 to 20 can be thought of 2 ways. Them losing 33% of their portfolio, or it can be seen as them going, of them having 100% gain in their portfolio. So yet again, I was surprised to see that I was down 4%, but is what it is. So I don't have much to add. Actually, I don't have much to add in general. I am down on Victoria's Secret. They report earnings in the upcoming, I believe the upcoming week. So if not, it's the week after, is what it is. If, I don't know, it's kind of interesting because they seem, you have the Victoria's, I don't know a lot about it, but I did look into it more than Evolve. And I actually believe the Evolve Technologies that I entered for a little swing trade is up on the week. So you could argue that I should have held on to that and not bought something else. But the problem with that is I wasn't willing to investigate Evolve to any reasonable extent. So I had to cut the position. But Victoria's Secret is an interesting one because with all the bad press they're getting, not in regards to their go woke, go broke strategy, but in regard to their revenues declining, let's call it that, is that their international segment is actually growing. And then another interesting dynamics at play here too, similar to Lee Enterprises, the newspaper company, or Town Square Media, the legacy radio company that's transitioning to online advertising, is that Victoria's Secret, of what I've looked at preliminarily, what I've looked at is that same store sales are declining, but their online sales are increasing. So they're transitioning from store sales to online sales, which makes the store sales look deceptively worse than what the actual implications of it means. And then the online sales are growing. I think that's a third of revenue. And then their international segment is growing. And then they have that overpriced acquisition of, I believe, the Adore Me is it, which is online only, I believe. And it's growing. So it seems to be the Victoria's Secret stores specifically are quote unquote underperforming, which is interesting because I just kind of adopted the position as a sort of degenerate gamble and whatever I said last week or the week before when I initiated the position. I think last week. It's like, well, they finally bring back the Victoria's Secret pageant, runway, whatever thing it is, and presumably with real models. And you actually go through their investor presentations over the last, well, since they've become a public company, and it's very interesting to see the styles of people that they put in those images on the investor presentation. And you could say that as of late, the last few quarters, that things are going back to how they used to be. Now, you can take that however you want to, and I'm purposefully avoiding certain language for what should be obvious reasons, which, depending upon your disposition, you'll take that however you will. So that's the beauty of speaking speaking ambiguously. And so maybe they've actually got their, maybe they've remedied their cranial rectal inversion and are perhaps riding the ship, and perhaps last year was the bottom. Now, I don't know, but it might be. But this is definitely one of those trades that what they call strong opinions held loosely type things. So it could be gone any day. Then Celebrite reported earnings. Like I said, I'm not really talking about them. And I said that last week in the weekly performance report. They reported earnings, and actually they did well for a moment. And then I think it was Friday that they got slammed down 6%. It was interesting. I read Voss Capital, which actually has some very nice blogs, or whatever you want to call them, articles. Not their actual, not the investor letters, but they have articles they write. And I really like them. And I just read their Q1 report. I didn't go farther back. I read them from time to time, and then I don't. So it's not like I'm tracking what they're doing. But I saw that they entered a position into Genius Sports, which makes up currently 7.5% of my portfolio. So that's nice. And they're smart. At least those things are smart. They seemingly have outperformed the S&P as well. So before fees, after fees, whatever. But that's interesting. What else might have come to revelation? Oh, there's talk among the Twitter sphere of Tidewater and how people are selling out of that and cutting back their positions because they've made so much, which I have not made so much. I'm up 93% on my position, while these people are up hundreds of percent. We'll call it that. Hundreds of percent on their position. So it makes well enough sense, especially when you're managing outside money. So, I mean, there's arguments to be had about it, but I'm not going to make those arguments one way or the other. So, I think with that said, I'm done here. And until next time, thank you for watching.